What's up, guys? We are back with a Power Rangers Lightning Collection review, and this one is kind of an early one because Hasbro sent over that PulseCon box that had, well, this guy in it. We are taking a look at the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Finster figure. So we're taking a look at another one of the monsters, but this is, of course, a named recurring monster, part of Rita's group of minions. So of course Finster is the one that makes all the monsters with the kind of putty molds. Well, putty molds, yeah. And he's a very integral part of that group, and I'm frankly really excited about this guy because not only is he early, but he looks amazing. So, of course, we've got him here in the standard style Lightning Collection box. You've got him there in the window. Tom Whalen artwork on the front, on the spine, and then the back of the package gives you that sort of render shot of Finster along with all the accessories that he comes with. So, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Finster figure. Definitely one that I've been really looking forward to. It's nice to be able to get an earlier look at this guy because, honestly, this is going to be one that I think everybody wants to get. Even if you're not a big Lightning Collection fan, if you just have a fondness for Mighty Morphin, this might be something you're interested in. And I think you're going to get a really, really solid figure. So let's just jump right into it, see what he can do, see how he moves around. He is a little different from the norm just because of his design, but he's not supposed to be dynamic either. I mean, he's an old man, literally an old man that makes monsters. So he doesn't have to be as articulated as everybody else, but he still moves really nicely. So we've got a head that is basically locked in this neutral position. He can't look up, but he can look down. So you've got that. It's just the way the neck is kind of crooked forward and the shape of his head. You've got a little bit of tilt, full rotation, but his mouth moves, and I didn't know that going into this figure. I was not aware. I guess I either missed it or maybe they didn't say. I don't recall. But his mouth moves, so that's really cool on its own. You've got arms that go out. They, of course, rotate. You do have these shoulder pads to worry about, so he goes about that far back. But they're not going to let you go all the way over because of just how rigid they are. He does have a butterfly joint in there. We've got single jointed elbows, but they give you much better than 90 because of the cut, so they're angled. And then you've got rotation in that joint. We've got vertical hinges on him in the box, and then rotation at the wrist. No torso articulation as far as like diaphragm, but he has it at the waist, so it's just a ball peg. So he goes backwards. He goes forwards a little bit. He's got kind of the apron that kind of crooks over, so it kind of hits. Tilt side to side, and then you've got rotation. He does have the big apron that goes all the way down, so you are going to get, a lot of limitation when it comes to kicking forward, but it doesn't go all the way back. So he does have all of that normal Lightning Collection articulation, so you can, swivel him around. At the thighs, you've got legs that go out. They go backwards a little bit. They just can't really go forward, which I'm not surprised. It's not unexpected when you look at him, obviously. Single jointed knees, which is kind of odd, but again, with this apron, it's not going to matter if he has double jointed anyway, really, so that's fine. And then you've got rotation, and then at those ankles, you've got your rocker, which is pretty good. He has kind of fat ankles that terminate with really small feet, so he does rock really good. And then you've got hinges that go pretty far forward and backward. And there's also, because I almost forgot because it's pretty well hidden, there is a boot cut right there. It's actually kind of hidden. So you do have pretty much all of the same articulation that you would expect. He's just a little bit more limited because of his design, because of that apron. And again, he doesn't need to be jumping through the air or really doing anything except sort of being a background character on your shelf with all your other monsters. So I'm perfectly fine with some of the limitations that he does have because it really makes no difference. What I'm most excited about, obviously, I'm sure you know where I'm going to go with this, is the look and just the aesthetic. And I think that Lightning Collection does monsters pretty good. Goldar's pretty good. They all have some flaws. The deluxe monsters, a lot of folks don't like how big they are, but I do like how big they are. They may not be in scale, but I think it makes for a much more engaging figure. So despite the fact that Pumpkin Rapper and King Sphinx both have some issues, I still like them. Finster, is very much what I want to get more of when it comes to these guys. You know, like when we get Squat and Babu, I'm really curious to see if they're going to be on the same level as this guy, because Finster is a really well done figure. I'm sure there's definitely the argument made that he could be more detailed and there's more stuff they could have added, but at the same time, I think this is about where we're going to end when it comes to Lightning Collection. So this is a really, really solid looking figure, and most of my enjoyment for this guy comes in just all the stuff that's all over his apron, and there will be more when we talk about accessories, and this head sculpt, because there's a lot going on. The base body here is kind of plain. You know, he's got this sort of a white overshirt with the black undershirt, and there's not a lot going on. I'm sure if you hit this with maybe a little black wash, it's going to kind of make him pop a little bit more, but they spent a lot of their focus, I think, on the overalls, on the apron, to give us, you know, the metallic silver shoulder pads, the red jewels, all the little tools that are not just painted but sculpted in his little breastplate pocket there. And then you've got all the tools that are down here on his apron as well. They don't do anything, they don't move, but at the same time, it's fine. I think it looks good for him to just have all that stuff hanging off of him, which was very much a thing for this character in the show. So I'm happy with that. He's got his gray pants. There's not really any paint on him, but again, they're you know, mostly obscured unless you're going to display your figure from the back. He does have a little bit of paint on the wrist for his you know, gold cuffs. He's got you know, this little doodads on his hand here, whatever those are. I'm honestly not sure I've ever noticed those, so I need to go back and look. And I think that in general, his size is a big thing too, because he's not a big figure, and he shouldn't be. This is definitely not someone that they should have taken liberties with and made him bigger. He needs to be a slightly smaller monster, and I'm pretty happy with his overall sizing. I'll do some size comparisons with some stuff here shortly, see what Lightning Collection I can dig out of the post-move mess that still exists, but I'm pretty happy overall with really everything here. I really do like him, and I think that at first glance, and just, you know, you're going to be pretty excited to see that this guy looks pretty show-like, so I'm happy there. And then frankly, the head sculpt is well, it's where it's at. This thing is really nicely done. There is a little bit of paint on it. You know, it's not over painted, but it has a little bit, so it's got kind of like this off-white, old looking cream color, I guess is the best way to say it, for the head and the ears. You've got the eyes painted, which are really clean and crisp. They're kind of, the eyelids are kind of closed a little bit to make it look like he's a little bit tired. The glasses are a separate piece, but they're not really meant to come off. They actually do peg into the sides of the head, and they appear to be glued. They are a little rubbery though, so you could do something like that if you wanted. So you can see his eyes, but you've got the full glasses, you've got the blue headband, you've got kind of the earrings that are attached with the gold metallic paint, and then his beard and mustache is painted a much more white color, which I think looks really good, and it does kind of break up his head a little bit and makes it look a little bit more detailed, so it's not just this one kind of like a white pumpkin is what it kind of looks like when you're first taking a look at it, because of all the wrinkles and things that are in there. But I do really, really like this head sculpt. It's probably going to be the big focal point for the figure. And then of course the fact that you've got an opening mouth, which is really awesome. I think that's fantastic. That's a great feature. I wasn't expecting it. You can see in there, you've got teeth painted, you've got the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the whole deal. Everything inside that mouth is painted. So while I had no idea, or I forgot, whatever, that the mouth moved, I'm really excited about it, and I think it's a nice little bonus feature. So all around, a very, very, very solid entry in the line. And then as far as some size comparisons go, like I said, here is a few figures from within the Lightning Collection. So we've got Lord Zed here on the right, we've got MMPR Red on the left. You know, the Rangers are basically the same size across the board, so that gives you an idea of what they look like. And Zed is, of course, taller than Finster, so he is a bit smaller than your average normal Lightning Collection figure, which I think works pretty well. He does scale pretty nicely. Here he is with a putty as well. It's a Z putty, because I can't find my 50 putties right now. They're in a box somewhere. So there he is with a Z putty, and of course he looks a little bit shorter compared to them. Also, now as far as some other lines, we're just going to do some random stuff, just give you an idea real quick, but you probably have an idea of how big or rather small he is. So we're just going to do stuff that I have handy. So here is a Sentinel Toys Ronin Warriors figure, Figuarts style figure basically. We've got a Mythic Legion for a 7-inch style figure. So here he is with a scapular, to give you an idea of what he looks like, with something that's more his height but not his scale, and then something that is not his scale at all. And then for another Hasbro line. Here he is with, let's move Sage aside, and here he is with a Marvel Legend. So here he is with the zombie cap for another 6-inch style figure, but of course a different line. So of course he's a little bit bulkier than a lot of 6-inch figures in terms of overall kind of girth. He's a little bit wider, but he's not nearly as tall as most. So of course Cap is a little bit taller. So I think he scales pretty well. He definitely fits within the confines of the Lightning collection for sure. Now, as far as accessories goes, Finster is stacked, to say the least, and he has some pretty amazing stuff. Well, it's amazing for the character. Some of it's kind of boring as far as accessories goes, but it all works with this character, with this figure. So let's get the boring stuff out of the way. He does come with some extra hands. I'm kind of confused about one, but I think I have an idea of what it is. So we get, first of all, we get a left hand that's kind of like a style pose hand, cupping hand almost. So you've got that. And then we get another right gripping hand, but it's a much tighter grip. And there is a really small accessory that will just fall right through this hand, but he has bigger accessories he needs to hold too. So I do believe that this is made with the intent of holding the very specifically small accessory, which happens to be this right here. So it's kind of like it looks like a paintbrush to me is what I'm assuming it is. So you've got like a little shock of metallic on the end there with like kind of a gray handle, and it does not really fit in this one. Like it will, but it just sort of like falls right out. Whereas this hand, it is fairly tight, so it will stay there just fine. So I'm assuming that's what it is, maybe not, but I don't know. Otherwise, he does have some really cool stuff. He's got his kind of like putty carving knife here. So it's got a brown handle, metallic blade, kind of corkscrew design to it, and it can fit in his apron, so you can kind of do one of these numbers, and it will sit there. So you've got weapon, utility storage, if you want to call it that. So he's got some storage there, and then he's got kind of the roller thing here. Brown handle, metallic paint on the silver as well. And then this also goes in his apron also. So you've got that, which I think is really cool because I've said it a million times, I love weapon storage. So just the idea of kind of filling out his apron is really nice. And then he's got another accessory, take his head off. And we've got his necklace that has kind of like his spyglass on it. So you can pop that off. It's not really pliable or anything, so he sometimes put it up to his eye. You can't really do that, but it does look good on him, and it kind of fills out the overall look and design here. So you've got a lot more stuff going on. Like he looks like a more filled out figure at this point with the kind of glass bauble on his chest, and then the two accessories down there. But that's not even the cool stuff, and he's already got a lot of stuff, right? So he also comes with this, which of course is like a little briefcase, treasure case kind of thing, so kind of nondescript. But when you open it, you've got putties inside. So you've got the 3 putties in there, and these 2 come out. So you've got one that's like kind of stuck in here. It's not going to come out. It's a different color, obviously. And then you've got these 2, which look fantastic. So I'm really, really happy with these. This is kind of, a signature thing. So you've got the briefcase here that has 3 putties, 2 of which can come out. And then you've got little putties for whatever you want to do. But the idea that they included this on its own is really fun because I didn't expect this when it first got revealed. And the fact that they fit inside the briefcase works really nicely. And then, of course, the fact that you can take them out is really cool also. So you do have to kind of get them in there. But once they're in, shut it up and they're in. So that's really cool. He does come with a lot of stuff. It's not the most dynamic accessories. Like when you think about it, he's got a necklace. He's got some arts and crafts tools basically, but it all works for this figure. And then to top it off with the case with the removable putties, it's just kind of like icing on the cake. So all in all, very, very robust set of accessories. So yeah, overall, very solid figure. And then there's a number of reasons why. He moves really well despite the fact that he has some limitations. He looks fantastic. He's got a lot of little bits and bobs and doodads all over him that just kind of stand out from the crowd when it comes to the Lightning Collection, because a lot of times that stuff isn't painted. He has a lot of little painted details on here which really make him stand out from those various colors that he's got, from the silvers, whites, the blues, the blacks, and it looks nice kind of bunched up with each other. Then, of course, he has a ton of accessories. There's a lot in this box. There's a lot of options. There's ways to deck out his overalls a little bit more. You get the little putties, you get the case. So there's a lot going on with this particular figure. And frankly, I think this is going to be kind of a barometer for what we want to see more of in the Lightning collection going forward. And if anything, that says a lot about how I feel about this guy when I feel like he should be used as kind of a mold for what to get more of out of this line. So that's going to do it for this look at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Finster. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.